For 1.4 million people, we are some of the most creative, talented, awesome people on the face of the planet. And sometimes we think that this level of creativity that exists in Trinidad, that it exists everywhere else in the world. And that is absolutely not true. I started Zoma in 2018 while I was still employed. The reason why I started it really was because I wanted to give back to the people in my country, especially female entrepreneurs. I have a passion for female entrepreneurship, and I'll tell you why. In the Caribbean, we've always had female entrepreneurs, but we didn't see it as entrepreneurship. We saw it as hustling. But the ability to create something out of nothing is a skill that all women have. In a new digital era, there are way more opportunities for women than ever before. And I find it very exciting. And I wanted to be part of it, and I wanted to bring my experience and my knowledge to the table. Having been a lecturer both locally and on the international scale, I've been able to use those skills in my business. I am a business strategist. We offer customized solutions, business planning, one-on-one coaching workshops, entrepreneur-based workshops, branding services, and startup processes for small business owners. The one-on-one coaching sessions are diagnostic. We talk about the problems or the challenges that you think you have as compared to the challenges or the problems that you actually have. Once we've been able to identify that, I have a team of people who come on board. The idea is to create synergy. I am not a Trinidadian brand. I'm a global brand that is run by a Trinidadian woman. So everywhere I turn up as a Trinidadian woman first.
Hi, good morning. We are going to be talking for a little while about imposter syndrome. And before we get started, there will be two things that will happen today. One, there will be an offer of a free training, and there will also be a preview of where we're going with this webinar, because I can tell you very clearly that the free webinar this morning is just the tip of the iceberg, because we're going to be turning it into a workshop, and that workshop comes in September. So those of you who will see it on the replay, you're not going to lose anything. Those of you who will join me today, it will be a fantastic experience. We will have a little chat. It might be for about 45 minutes, but I believe it is a topic whose time has come, because I'm seeing it over and over, how often we are not dealing with it. We are avoiding the fact that imposter syndrome is very common, and it happens most of the time in very high performing women. But here is what is important, and this is what I want you, if there's nothing else that you take away from this experience this morning, I want you to take this away. One, that no matter what you've heard, and people like to tell you that imposter syndrome doesn't exist and that it is a phenomenon, and some people go as far down the rabbit hole to tell you that it is something that has been created to make us feel less. Social media messages and all the other messages in the attention economy keep saying to us that we are too bold, we are not bold enough, that we are too pretty, that we're not pretty enough, that we are too fat, that we are too small, that we are too young, that we are too old. And I'm always amazed how insidious those messages are, and the extent to which those messages constantly undermine our worth. As a business strategist, I tell people that my one-on-one coaching is really diagnostic, because it deals with clarifying your issue. So at the end of our conversation, I always predicate the end with, what do you want? Because if there is not clarity, then it will be the shiny object syndrome. You'll keep running after something, thinking that this is going to solve the problem. And when that doesn't solve the problem, you run after something else. Or the comparison syndrome, that you see people on social media and you are saying to yourself, well, I am better than her or I am better than him, but how come that person is successful and not me? And when will my success come? These are the things that we need to think about, and we need to be intentional, because let's face it, we are in a very uncertain, uneasy season. And let's listen, there comes a time when you really have to stop being angry, no matter how painful the situation is. And you now have to arm yourself with the tools of strategy, the tools of intentionality in order to go forward. And this is what this webinar is about, and this is what the workshop is going to be about. So having said that, let me share one other story with you. And it's recently, 2 days ago, in fact, I saw something on Instagram. I have a friend who is a creator, and there was an opportunity offered by a named brand that said to her that named brand was looking for people who are proficient in AI, and was inviting those people to collaborate, to offer themselves for a possible collaboration. And knowing that she is so talented, I sent the link to her and I said, listen, this is something that you should look at. Because one of the things that we do not do enough as women is call other women's names in those rooms. And I make it a policy. And I always, if something doesn't suit me, then it suits somebody in my community. And I always reach out to other people. And I did. And I was surprised, not really. Disappointed, yes. Reinforced, definitely. And I'll tell you why. She reached out to me, and this was the message. She saw the link, but she told herself that she is not qualified enough to submit her resume because the people who the brand is looking for is so much better than she is. Instant imposter syndrome. That's imposter syndrome in its realest terms, in its realest form. She took herself out of the deliberation before anybody said anything to her. She didn't shoot her shot. As Wayne Gretzky used to say, we miss all the shots that we do. We miss 100% of the shots that we do not take. This is what imposter syndrome looks like. This is what imposter syndrome looks like. It looks like the little things that we say to ourselves that convinces us that we are not enough. And we must be aware when it is happening, because we need to ask ourselves, as one of my guests in my recently concluded live series said, who told you that? We like to say that we wish that we had the confidence of a white man. We have to be also careful, and I say it all the time, we have to be also careful that the weapon being formed against us that is not allowing us to prosper might very well be us. So having said that, let's get started. And I'm going to move myself to the side and we're going to have the discussion. So we're going to talk about imposter syndrome and influence. How to show up when you feel small. Because feeling small is a normal thing. We feel it all the time. There's no successful person on the face of the planet who feels 100% themselves or 100% confident 100% of the time. We are not alone in this. We are not alone in this. Yesterday, I saw an article where Richard Branson was saying that there are things that he simply did not understand. A lot of people don't even realize that Richard Branson is diagnosed as a dyslexic person. We keep thinking, because social media keeps telling us in these carefully curated images that these people are perfect. And we, are the imperfect ones. So we're going to talk about imposter syndrome and influence, and how imposter syndrome impacts on your influence and what you can do about it, how to show up when you feel small. So before we get started into any kind of conversation, let's just look at the definition of it and when did it become an issue? So what is imposter syndrome? And Pauline Rose Clance and Suzanne Imes in 1978, two psychologists, defined it as an internal experience of intellectual phoniness that those who feel fraudulence and worthlessness have in spite of outstanding academic or professional accomplishment. What makes this definition important is the fact that imposter syndrome afflicts, it's a phenomenon. It's not a medically defined situation. It's a phenomenon that is an experience. It's an internal experience. We feel these things about ourselves. As I said before, society plays a very big part, but that internal experience is reinforced by those images. But here is the thing that I want to leave with you today, that high-performing men and women, high-performing Black women are also assailed with those feelings of fraudulence and worthlessness, especially now when so many Black women are being sent home, are being retrenched, are being told by society, by organizations, by employers that they are not enough. And it is very easy for you to start to feel that about yourself if there is evidence that seems to reinforce that internal experience of intellectual phoniness. So what are the key characteristics of it? Consistently doubting your abilities, attributing your achievements to external factors such as luck, hard work, or timing. So you do not feel that you deserve, you feel that you fell into it. Believing that they do not truly belong among their high achieving peers, and afraid that others will eventually discover their perceived lack of ability. So there is a feeling inside of that imposter syndrome that you are not enough, even though the evidence does not support your belief. So I'm going to ask this question. And this is the question. Type one word in the chat describing your imposter syndrome. Now, when I did this presentation in the Brand from Scratch Summit, what came up over and over was fear. Fear that I will be found out to be a fraud. Fear that I am not enough. Fear that the messages that are being shared about women, about Black women, about marginalized women, that those beliefs are based in something other than somebody's opinion that is not supported by fact. When people say something about you, as Steinzekis always says, you need to ask yourself who told you that. You have to trace the belief all the way back to the source. So if your word is fear, type it. If your word is overwhelm, type it. If your word is believing that you are not enough, go ahead and share it. This is what this free webinar is about. This is why this conversation is happening, because you may have a gift that is an important gift, a worthwhile gift, a gift that will solve a problem that a lot of people have, a gift that you can both incentivize and monetize, but you keep telling yourself that you are not enough. So let's keep going. So this is something that people say all the time. And we hear it, we see, I read it in people's content on LinkedIn, just fake it till you make it. Now, fake it till you make it has its place. However, it is not a cure-all. It is not a plaster for every sore, as we say in the Caribbean, because there are 3 traps inside of that fake it till you make it. And one is faking confidence instead of building competence. Give you another story. Somebody recently reached out to me to participate in a global summit. When people make me offers, I always like to go back to the source because many times on social media, people offer you an opportunity, and by the time you sign up for it, you end up, what they offer you is a pay to play. You have to pay to present in these conferences. And if you have to pay to present in a conference, that's a money making scheme. That's a scam. So, because if you build your competence, then the opportunities will come. But if you are faking that confidence, it is very easy for you to get caught up in these things. The second thing, you waiting for permission instead of claiming authority. One of the things that happens to female founders, because I deal with female founders and women-owned startups, I'm a business strategist, there's a belief that your work will speak for you. The truth of it is that your work is not speaking. Or if it is speaking at all, it is not speaking in the rooms where decisions about opportunities for you are taking place. So that is why it is important for you to learn how to brag, because bragging is simply saying, here I am, this is what I'm offering, this is what I'm bringing to the table. Pray and spray is when you're creating content hoping somebody will like it. Or something that I see people do on LinkedIn all the time, they put up the open for work on their profile picture. Quick tip, don't do it, because it attracts people who believe that you're desperate and they offer you the worst possible pay. When there is a way to offer it, but you have to go into your profile and make it available only for recruiters that you will choose. So you don't have to put it on your banner. Please, if some of you are doing it now, please stop. The other thing, comparing your behind the scenes to others' highlight reels. This is where social media is our bete noir. Understand that people are not showing you their messy middle. They are not showing you the struggle that takes them from 0 to 100. The first $100,000 that you are going to make is going to be the hardest $100,000. That's the hardest money that you're going to. But most people do not show you that. Recently, I saw a woman do a presentation on six-figure mindset, and I'm being honest. She had a picture without her frame plastered in the back of her presentation. And I am saying that if you don't believe in you, how can I believe in you? But social media creates these curated images that, again, makes us compare. And as we all know, comparison is the thief of joy. We keep comparing other people, not knowing that those people are just like us. They are in the same place. Some of them a little further ahead than us. Some of them have worked through their messy middle and they're on the other side. The break even is a mathematical formula that says that it takes 3 to 5 years for a business to break even. And when you factor in, I think a lot of people did not factor in that. When you factor in the fact that that global pandemic changed the business landscape altogether. And now, as the landscape becomes more and more digitized, then there is a need for us to acquire abilities, skills, and knowledge at the speed of light. So you comparing yourself to something that you have not even tested for veracity, people who are airbrushed, people who are lying, people who are not showing you their messy middle, that's a fake it till you make it trap. So now I'm going to ask you another question. As I said, we are going on with this conversation. There's going to be. So let's look at this. So therefore, having explained to some extent what that fake it trap is, what is your fake it trap? because you have one. We all have one. We have to recognize it when it shows up and apply strategy to deal with it. Or better yet, the strategy is really to minimize its effect. So, one, A, waiting for permission. As I said, as women, we feel that we have to get a sign off on everybody. We have to ask everybody's opinion until we do something. Action is what pushes the ball forward, not thinking about it, acting on it, doing the thing, comparing your behind the scenes to others' highlight reels. As I said in the Bible, and it is still true, comparison is the thief of joy. So, as entrepreneurs, it is very easy for you to say, I have been doing this for so long and I am not seeing my way and nobody's recognizing my worth and I am struggling and the business, I have 50,000 followers and the money is not in the bank. So it's very easy for us to compare. But when we compare, and it's all right to compare to some extent, when we compare, it must be as a source of learning. What did this person do? How can I learn from this person? But usually, comparison always puts us behind the eight ball. C, downplaying your wins. As women, we are guilty of this all the time. Because again, society has conditioned us to believe that if we talk about our successes, we are seen as arrogant, or we are seen as boastful, or we are seen as doing all the things, trying to be all the things, because humble, quiet, and toned down is our modus operandi, or our acceptable modus operandi. But funnily enough, nobody penalizes men because men will talk about it with their whole chest. And what we will say is that this man is a take charge person, or that he's a bold person, or that he is a visionary, or he's a vanguard, or he's a disruptor. Instead, we take these things to heart. And when we do take them to heart, we are always on the back end of it. So write down your fake it trap. Because again, remember I talked about my process of elimination when I do one-on-one coaching. If you don't call the thing, then you cannot fix it. If you do not get clarity, then you cannot apply any measure of strategy. So now that I've shared that with you, here's the question that I know. I am absolutely certain that this is the question that you are going to ask. And this is it. Well, what if they find out that I'm a fraud? Because remember, in the definition, there is an internalized experience of feeling like a fraud. So if you believe that you're a fraud and you are doing that comparison analysis, or you are waiting for everybody to agree or to like you before you take that chance, create that business, ask for that promotion, negotiate for that pay bump, then the person who's hurting you, most of all, is not what they are saying, but what you are saying about yourself. So what if they find out I'm a fraud? Now let us discuss this. Let us go into this. They won't. Because you are already enough. You are not a fraud. You have the ability, the skills, and the knowledge. You have, even if you are at ideation stage, I will make the assumption that you have spoken to the people around you to triangulate the challenge that the person is having. And if enough people are having a problem, then that is a gap. And the gap is what we service. If somebody says to you, somebody says to me that they are serving who are your clients? Who are the people that you want to serve? And they tell me they want to serve everybody, all the women on the eastern seaboard of the United States. I know that they don't know what they're talking about. So when you triangulate, then it means that you have taken enough time, you have identified a problem, you have, and if you haven't done these things, then that's another workshop and I will show you this. Because you're not a fraud. And even if you were, let's just argue that point. Even if you were, even if you were, then it means that a lot of the people that you are following, that you are quoting, the Michelle Obamas, the Viola Davises, the Halle Berrys, the whoever you're following on social media, whoever you're quoting, Tabitha, whoever it is, then half the experts, they are too. Because if you think about it for a second, everybody is failing, learning from failure, pivoting, rebuilding, reforming, and they're at some stage of the journey. And if that is the case, then it stands to reason that so are you. So half of the experts are also frauds. If you say that you are a fraud and you don't have what it takes, then half the experts are also frauds. So let's keep going. Here is the thing that, this is important for you to sit with. We think every single time that we have to be perfect, that we have to get everything right. If I had $1 for everybody who told me, Rhonda, I will take advantage of your workshop when I get my money right. I will sign up for one-on-one coaching when I could afford it. When I will do this with my business when next year, when the children finish high school, when I'm ready to retire, when I'm finished with my first degree. If I had $1 for every time somebody told me that, I wouldn't be a business strategist because I'll be a billionaire. Because here is the thing, two things. One, the bar is usually much lower than you think. Because the bar to entry is much lower than you think. And especially now, in a digital landscape, you don't need all the tools that TikTok and everybody is telling you that you have to create content. You have a phone. You have, if you don't have lights, you have daylight outside. If you do not listen, you can use a freemium website. You could use CapCut free almost indefinitely because this is the thing about it. Even when you feel, because we are usually our own worst critic, even when you feel that it's not good enough, you must tell yourself that if you do it enough, you will get better. So the bar is usually lower than you think. The bar is usually lower than you think. Because at the end of the day, there is only time and there is only you. And the one thing that cannot be replaced, is time. So the people who tell me that they're going to do this, this, and this when at such and such time, I know that they're not serious. And for my own continued welfare, I don't bother with them. When you are building your dream, there are people who will not agree. See how slowly I'm saying it? Who will not agree with the choices or the decisions that you are going to make. And some of those people are people who are very close to you and whose opinion matters to you. I want to make you understand this. If you understand nothing else, I want you to understand this. That it is all right for them to disagree. It is all right for people to ask you, are you sure that this is what you want to do? It is all right. It is all right for them to say, to try to discourage you. It is all right for them to give you every single reason why your business, your dream, your ambition is not good enough. And not all those people are ill intentioned, because some of them are asking that question because they care for you, because they love you, because they want you to be safe. Some of them are entrepreneurs, and we like to give entrepreneurial activity a sexy word, like if entrepreneurship is aspirational. Creators create because they have to create. For them not to create is like asking them not to breathe. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, it is all right for them not to agree with what you, and you have to get good with that. Just this week, the guy who does my t-shirts, you see, I won one of them this morning. We were having that conversation. It's all right for people to disagree with the choices that you make. But it is not all right for you to toss away your dream because you didn't get a sign off on it. As I tell people, when God put a dream in your heart, it was not conference call. It was not. And I want you to start to get good with being the only person and God who believes in what you want to do, what you plan to do, what you are doing. Because here's what I know to be a fact, that nothing happens for a very long time. It's almost like God is testing you. You want this dream? All right, let me see how much belly you have. And then, almost overnight, everything happens. And then you understand why the wait was necessary. Because this entrepreneurial thing, this thing that you want to do, entrepreneurship is the only profession that will teach you more about yourself than about any product or any service that you will ever create. So I'm leaving that with you. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to agree. But I've lived enough to know that. And it's about life, not only about business, about life as well. It's all right for you to change your mind about something. It's all right for you to pivot. It's all right for you to say that this relationship, this job, this profession, this marriage, it's all right for you to say that it no longer works and I want to try something else. I want to do something else. I want to seek peace. I have a friend who was a lawyer for a long time and left it to become a yoga instructor. Now, that might make you clutch your pearls, but she wasn't getting any joy out of it, because a lot of the time we know that our professions are chosen by our parents and not by us. So I'm leaving it right there. That come off the soapbox and let's go forward. So as a business strategist, this is the tool that I use all the time, not just because it works, because I use it on myself, but because, as I said, it allows people to get clarity. Because we could talk about imposter syndrome as being a phenomenon. We could talk about imposter syndrome as being an internalized experience. We could also talk about the sociological, the psychological, the cultural, some of them are even faith-based, some of them are race-based, that keep reinforcing that women are not ready for success. There it is, I've said it. But what I have used and what I would want you to apply is this, and I'm going to show it to you now. It's called the influence framework. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I don't know if you have ever used it, but I would want to recommend that you give it a try. And the acronym, the influence is really an acronym, and it gives you steps that allow you to look at imposter syndrome in the face and apply strategy, tools, initiatives to name it and also to deal with it. So the first thing, ignite your uniqueness. You are the only you that is ever going to exist. Think about how much of a gift, how much of a joy it is that you are the only you. Even twins have differences. So ignite your uniqueness. Stop mimicking gurus. Recently, I saw a woman a young person did a presentation, and I realized that she wanted to be the next Gen Z it girl. And nothing is wrong with being the next Gen Z it girl. However, as a lecturer of mine used to say, context is everything. So being the Gen Z it girl in the Caribbean, where the Caribbean is a different experience altogether, then that creates a disconnect, a dissonance. But if you are seeing these people who coming up on YouTube or coming up on TikTok, and of course they're not giving you the whole story, that they have 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, and they're not incentivizing or monetizing one iota of that followership. Yeah, it's very easy for you to get, as we say in the Caribbean, for you to get tired. So stop mimicking the rules. Name your doubt. Remember, I said one of the tools that I use as a business strategist is that one-on-one coaching. Recently, I talked to a client because I do offer free 30-minute consults. I talked to a client, and the client was talking about she have to build a website and she has to do this. And yes, you have to do this. These things are going to cost you money. What about if you create a single offer and see if you can monetize that? Doesn't have to be a very expensive offer. As I tell people, what can you create for 10 US that you are able to monetize and incentivize? Now, don't tell me that you don't know how when you could literally write a prompt on chat and get some guidance. And then if you're not sure, get somebody to help you. The investment in a business coach, the investment in a business strategist, the investment in a life coach. You see, these first 1 to 7 years of your business, as you build and just before you're about to scale, that outside, that fresh pair of eyes is going to be very, very, very useful. So name your doubt. I feel like a fraud about. That's why I asked the question for you to name your imposter syndrome. What is the trigger? What is keeping you stuck? Find your proof. Remember, we said that one of the issues that women struggle with is downplaying their wins. So list 3 wins that you downplayed. Create a brag jar. Things. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be finally finishing your PhD. My own is finally finishing the PhD. I'm almost there. It could be that you finally made a good bread, or you made a great pot of soup or something. What are the 3 wins? Find your wins, celebrate your wins. I think we focus more on our failures than celebrate our wins. So create a brag jar. Leverage strategic vulnerability. I come from the Caribbean, and the Caribbean is the mecca of storytelling. This is the place where soca and calypso was invented. And storytelling is part of our DNA. But surprisingly enough people do not capture storytelling in their content creation. They do not create that storytelling aspect. And they're missing out. They are missing out. Because especially if you are trying to build a personal brand, your storytelling is what people will identify first about you while they are getting to know you, getting to like you, and getting to trust you. So one of the things that people love is an underdog story. So that's why I share the fact that I went back to school when I was 40 years old. A lot of people are fascinated by that because society tells them, again, society, who is these people, tells them that you are too old to create a new path or to create a new life. I did it. I actually did it. I'm still doing it. Use authority language. What you say about yourself is more important than what anybody is going to say about you. So part of your strategy in meeting and dealing with imposter syndrome is using that authority language. Say it with your whole chest. So one of the things that you want to say is that you're going to use affirming words. So swap just for because. Don't say I'm just a business owner. I'm just uh, an administrative assistant. I'm just a cog in the wheel. What about if you say, because I'm a business owner, because I'm an administrative assistant, because I'm a founder, because I am, if especially because I'm a founder, because there's so many reasons why female founders face enormous challenges in terms of creating businesses, because most of the time we are the first in our generation that's doing this. So here's one of the because that you will want to think about. Because I am a female founder, I will create a business that generates, that creates, not even generates, that creates generational wealth both for me and the people that I will employ and the community in which I am based. When you find your why, your how becomes much easier. Engage before you're ready. Again, I am on camera this morning. I'm creating something. It wouldn't land on everybody. Some people wouldn't like it. Some people will say that my background is too loud, my nose ring is off-putting, my glass is too fancy, my nails are too long. I am not for everybody. But the people who will rock with me, those are the people that I am for, 100%. So engage before you're ready. Create the damn thing. You can always go back and fix. A perfect example of creating before you're ready is Apple. Apple has made it part of their strategy to create products while the products are basically just out of the R&D stage. So what they do, they create iPhone 1, they toss it out, people, they ask for feedback from the clients. The clients will say, it's good, but, and they take feedback seriously and they evolve. So, and in so doing, they have placed the client, the customer, at the center of their innovation. And that is why Apple customers are so loyal to the brand. And that is what has allowed the brand to become proprietary. When you place the people in the center of your offering, then the people take ownership of it. They become evangelists for your brand. Normalize discomfort. Getting on camera is probably one of the most difficult things for many people to do. And I am on LinkedIn 85% of the time. And I read people's content religiously because I'm always in the learning phase. I read content every single day that people could have made into a 1 minute reel or a 2 minute reel or even a 5 minute reel. Because here is what nobody is telling you. That idea of people not wanting to engage, and people like to tell you that AI will do everything and they're the chicken littlers, that the sky is falling. When you come up on camera and say your truth and turn up as yourself, you allow people to embrace your story. So normalize the discomfort. Say that I am not good at this, but I will get better. I became good at creating graphics. I create all the graphics for my business right now. Unless I have a very big event, then I have vendors that I reach for. But when I started, I just told myself, I will be messy and then I will get better. Claim your space. There are people who feel psychologically unsafe in organizations or in spaces. And there are people who will want you to feel psychologically unsafe because your silence benefits them. When you don't say anything, then they are allowed to hold the floor. We've seen it happening all around us. When you don't say anything, then you are allowing people who have their own agenda to push that agenda forward. They are, in fact, they're betting on your silence. They're hoping for your silence. Your silence benefits them. So claim your space. Claim your space. Create opportunities to engage. Build cogent arguments, because, as I was telling a friend of mine recently, it's unfortunate that there are only two stereotypes of Black women: the video vixen and the angry Black woman. But between those extremes, there's us, the women who could build a cogent argument, the women who could say that this is what this is because this is what, and stand behind it, stand up, stand on it. Because as I said, they are they are betting on our anger. They are betting on our despair. They are betting on us to turn up either one way or the other because it feeds into their stereotype of us. So claim your space. Elevate others. We have not yet learned that there is enough space for all of us. I have a friend who was a warrant officer in Army, and the Army has a motto that there's always enough space in the Army Jeep. In other words, there's always enough space for everyone in the collective, because one, the collective depends on, just like 300, the collective's success is based on the efforts of everybody, not just the effort of one body. As women, we have to stop with the comparison. We have to understand that it is all right to create an opportunity for someone else if that opportunity doesn't suit us. That one-on-one thinking has been the thing that has kept all of us back. We need to stop thinking that there is only competition. There's collaboration as well, and find opportunities to do so. So your tribe mirrors your confidence. When you are confident that there is enough space for you, then you don't have a problem to involve other people, to call other people to the table. And as I said, as I always say, to build a table that is for all of us. Because at the end of the day, this is what is important. Your next level doesn't need you to be ready, it needs you to show up. So I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to add this in. Those of you who signed up and who will get this on demand, this is my gift to you this morning. It is a confidence, reflection, and strategy worksheet. I love to create workbooks. The reason why I like to create workbooks, it is because I spent 15 years of my life as a course creator, not a content creator, a course developer, course creator. And working in aviation, I served a global market. So these things are really easy for me to do because I could talk to you for an hour. You could forget what I said, but you could also get a tool that will allow you to start to do the work, because nothing works unless you do. So let me just walk you through it for a second. It's a self-awareness check-in, and if you notice, it's fillable, which means that when you download it, you can literally type into it. And it's something that you could keep, and it allows you to look back, measure, as we say in the Caribbean, measure twice, cut once. Reclaiming your truth. So one of the things that we struggle with in the imposter syndrome is the other syndrome of people pleasing. We care too much about what other people say about us. So in cleansing, in that unlearning, in that getting down to self, you have to reclaim your truth. So one of the things, I am no longer available for, I am fully equipped to, I am proud of, I am most powerful when. Those are the prompts that will allow you to fill in those spaces. And I'll tell you something about the second section. You could also use it for your journaling because it matters most when you write it down. There is a magic that happens when the pen hits the paper that allows you to get so much clarity, and it allows you to uncover and unearth things about yourself, including that imposter syndrome. So, correct confidence moves. What's one action I can take? Remember, how we say it in the Caribbean, Rome is still being built. A business, a life is built one day at a time, sometimes 1 hour at a time, depending on what you're dealing with. So, and it is small actions. As a course developer, you have a goal. You have 4 goals, never more than 4. At the end of this, what do you want the people to be able to do? Then you take those big chunks of goals and you break them into tasks and subtasks because you're going to measure twice and cut once. So, what's one small action? What's one boundary? A boundary, we don't set enough boundaries. As women, we do not set enough boundaries. Your boundaries are on pricing, your boundaries on people, family members who want you to do business for them or with them and they are unwilling to pay. Remember, your social media is not for your family. Most of the time, your family will not believe in you until they start to see the money coming. Then everybody will tell you that they used to pray for you in the church and they knew that you was going to make it. What's one way that I will advocate for my value? You have to become the cheerleader in your life. You have to tell yourself that no matter how hard it gets, I will not give up. Because if you do not know where you're going, then any road will lead you there. And this is why rest is also important, because sometimes you actually need to unplug and think it through. Think it through. This is what AI is for. Use AI to be your devil's advocate. Use AI to help you to write better prompts. Use AI to help you to get to the bottom of, I want to do this. How can I break it down into those tasks and subtasks? Don't be afraid to use the tool. Don't be afraid to use the tool because it's a large learning machine. The more you use it, the more it knows you. It's not going to replace you. You are a living computer. AI cannot replicate you. There is power in the tongue. The Bible, I always tell people that the Bible was written for men, by men. It's a simple book written by men, for men, by people, for people. Because in all the changes that happens in the world, the one constant is people. People haven't changed since we come out of the cosmic ooze. Since back in Adam and Eve days, people have not changed. So one of your affirmations, I am not here to shrink. I am here to take up space fully, freely, and without apology. Use affirmations. It's all right if the only person who sees your affirmations is you, because you have to feed your mind and keep it fed. This is why you are not going to allow imposter syndrome to take up much needed real estate in your mind. So, having with this, I am also going to share one other thing for you. And I want you to bear with me because we are in the last 6 months of 2025. And if we do not name it and claim it, then the same resolutions will be taking place at the end of 2025 that we made in 2024, that we made in 2023, that we made in 2022, and so on ad nauseum. Because until and unless we take responsibility for our lives, then nothing changes. We are headed here. From imposter to influencer will become a fully expanded workshop and a glow up kit. It's coming in September. I have given myself 60 days to move it from where it is this morning to where it is going to be. We have already finished a lot of the work. Some of the things that we're going to have in this workshop is a full ebook that allows you, that has affirmation cards, printable affirmation cards, that allows you to start your day right. Grounding exercises to start your day, affirmations, how to maximize your LinkedIn profile, how to create content for different platforms. It is finished. That workbook is finished. But one of the things that is also going to be part of that, an attachment. We even have a playlist, a playlist that from a Spotify playlist that is going to be part of that package that allows you to motivate your day, because a day that doesn't start strong dictates how the rest of the day, probably the rest of the week, will follow. It is self-paced, which means that you can, after the workshop is completed, you have full access to the video. It's going to be self-paced so that you could work with it on at your own time, your own pace. We're going to either use Thinkific or we're going to use Kajabi. We have this is almost finished as well. There are two prices, which is 97 US for the early bird and 147 for the regular. We are going to give you everything. It's going to be yours. You're going to have lifetime access to it. You are going to be able to not only use this as we did it one time today, you're going to be able to use it as long as you need it. Because part of what we are offering is access to our academy, which is the subscription model on my website. And there's also 3 tiers of one-on-one coaching, which you can also see on my website. And these things are important. It is important for you to start to think about why you need these things. And don't let 2025 be the year that you once again fail to launch, fail to start. So this is what it's going to look like, and it is coming on the 6th of September. You're going to see a lot in the media. You're going to see interviews. You're going to see a lot of things that are happening before this is happening. The free version is just the tip of the iceberg. So at the end of the day, this is what I'm going to leave with you this morning, and I thank you. For those of you who will see it as afterwards on your replay, please take advantage of it. If there are any questions, any queries, I do offer a free 30-minute on Zoom. Drop me a DM. I'll send you the link. I also have coffee chats on Calendly where you can also talk to me because I use Google Meet. You could talk to me about a challenge that you're having, and we could just do a dirty brain dump and you'll get some tools to go forward. But at the end of the day, this is what I want to leave with you. At the end of the day, imposter syndrome only becomes an issue if you allow it to do so. Michelle Obama spoke about it. Viola Davis has spoken very openly about her challenges with imposter syndrome as a high-functioning creative. And Maya Angelou once said that every time she writes a book, she always had the fear that they are going to find her out. They're going to find out that she's a fraud. So imposter syndrome exists. Let's not say that it doesn't exist. When people say that it doesn't exist, I am like, so what are all these women feeling? Name it. Say it. Accept that you are struggling, you are challenged with feelings of unworthiness, but I feel like a fraud because that is why part of the influence network is that you call the thing the thing. But you are going in the direction of help. You are going in the direction of ease. You are going in the direction where you will take ownership of those messages. It always goes back to time. It always goes back to yet. I have not accomplished the things that I want to accomplish. put it in the dotted line yet. Because there's a difference between chasing after every shiny thing and being intentional. And what I want for you is intentionality. I could tell you my story, you've heard it. You've heard that I went back to school at 40 years. You've heard that I started a business at 55. You've heard that I left my job at 58. You've heard that I moved from a brick and mortar to a hybrid operation and now almost on the cusp of creating a fully digital operation. You've heard all the things. I like to tell people this and I'll leave this with you. I knew who I wanted to be when I was 8 years old. It took me 50 years to become that person. My purpose with Zoma Business Solutions, with turning up on social media, with speaking my truth, is that I want you to get there faster. Have a fantastic day, and please don't be a stranger. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, reach out to me on Facebook. My website is www.rhondaglynn.com, and I do have a showing on Instagram, although Instagram and I have a love-hate relationship. But give yourself permission to be everything that you know deep down inside that you can be, and let the road rise up to meet you. Have a fantastic day, and thank you for joining.